What do you say, everybody? Can you believe it? We are at the Flora-Bama here, Perdido Key, Orange Beach. Trey Yanity filling in for Kyle Henderson. Hey, guess what? The BamaInsider Tailgate Show previewing Texas A&M and Alabama starts right now. Roll Tide.
The BamaInsider Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we've got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad. With BamaInsider Managing Editor Kyle Henderson, recruiting expert Andrew Bone, and former Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster and SEC Network play-by-play voice Mick Gillispie. The BamaInsider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery and the only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's Play, now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Flora-Bama world-famous Beach Bar and Lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, luxury with a national championship service department. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports, not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Commercial banker Jay Weber with Service First Bank. Hotel Indigo, Tuscaloosa's amazing upscale boutique lodging in downtown. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. R&R Cigar, the home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. And Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. Now, here are Kyle and Mick.
What do you say, everybody? Talking to you live from the Flora-Bama here, Perdido Key, Orange Beach. I'm Mick Gillispie, and let's talk about the BamaInsider Tailgate Show. The show is presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery, and for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview number 1 Alabama at Texas A&M. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff Central Time. On the show today, it is chock-packed full of stuff. We got Jeff Cameron from the College Sports Book. Him and I have been doing the skins game of football picking back and forth this year. We've got Big Earl from Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits. That's the big act here at the Flora-Bama. And for those of you that are listening around the state or the country that have been here to this bar, you know what I'm talking about. The Flora-Bama Lounge and Oyster Bar and Lounge. It's like renowned. And this guy, he's a legend in these parts. Chris Warner, the author of The History of Tailgating in the SEC, will join us. Andrew Bone with a huge recruiting update, including the newest commitment for the Crimson Tide, another blue chipper coming to Tuscaloosa. We'll have the latest on that. We'll have Leonard's Loser. Reagan Starner from R&R Cigar will be on. And I'm Mick Gillispie, teaming up with Trey Yanity, who's part of our BamaInsider team, and in for Kyle Henderson, who's on assignment. Trey, after saying all that, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Mick. It's good to be back. This was my original stomping grounds at BamaInsider, the Tailgate Show. I love everything you guys do here, so it's good to be on. Good to fill in for Kyle. I think we have a little bit more of a quiet vibe here at the BamaInsider studios than you got down there at Flora-Bama, but it looks like a great time. How are you doing, Mick? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, look, it's a zoo down here, but that's what you expect on, a game weekend on the beach like we are right now. I mean, like we're one big wave away from getting our feet wet. All right, let's talk, Trey. A little football. Alabama is 5-0. They're number 1 in the country. They take on Texas A&M 3-2. The Aggies are in danger of losing a 3rd straight conference game. They have dealt with a rash of injuries so far this season. So this is a big game for Texas A&M, and this is another one of Nick Saban's assistants. But before we get into that, let me tell you guys kind of the lineup, as our show is always presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. And we got all the Screwball and Yuengling swag that we're handing out here at Flora-Bama as we hang out. The way that this thing works is on Fridays 6 to 8 on the BamaInsider YouTube channel, we record the show. Like and subscribe, hit the bell. And I know a lot of you guys set your clock to these shows that come on, and we appreciate it. You're watching a radio show being recorded. Tomorrow, this show is going to be on 4 to 6 on Jocks 2, and Birmingham 100.5. Tuscaloosa will be on 9 to 11, our normal time slot. Fox Sports, Shoals, and Florence. So we got this thing going across the state, but right now we're down here talking Alabama and Texas A&M. Trey, this is just such a, I don't know, it's such a weird matchup in so many different ways because of the injuries that Alabama's dealing with, and Texas A&M's already had to deal with a bunch of injuries.
Yeah, this matchup has really gotten weird. I think at the beginning of the season, we circled this one and thought this is going to be, maybe the game of the season for Alabama. But Texas A&M, obviously, these last few weeks, loses to Arkansas and then, can't return home and defeat Mississippi State. This team's reeling right now. For Alabama, obviously, the ball continues to roll. And another big commitment today in Jaleel Skinner, adding to that tight end room. Excited to hear Andrew Bone's thoughts on that a little bit later on. But, this is a matchup for Texas A&M that, they don't have to win, but they need to at least show that they can play in this league. Right now, they don't look like one of the 14 teams that the SEC represents. And, it's weird to think that this team started the season in the top 10. And, they've dealt with their fair share of injuries. Like you said, their starting quarterback, Haynes King, isn't going to be around for the rest of the season. They've had to adjust, and they've gotten good tight end play. Really, it's been the offensive line, I think, for Texas A&M. You look at their defense, I mean, they're allowing about 12 points a game. If you do that in the SEC, you're probably going to be okay. But this team's struggling right now. I'm interested to see how Alabama comes out and sets the pace in this game. But it's always a crazy one over there in Aggie land, nighttime as well. I don't know if you've ever been in that environment, but it's going to be a show.
No, I mean, that's one of the places that I haven't been for a football game. But Bama's back on the road again. This is their first real, true road game since they took on Florida. They won that game, but it did look like at times that Bryce Young was a little bit rattled. Can they get refocused after the Ole Miss game? And, what did they learn from Florida?
I think that Florida game was so important because it was that close. I mean, you watch this Alabama team go out against Miami and dominate. And then I believe it was Mercer the next week, dominate in that game. Southern Miss, on and on. And then, you get a test, and you get a test on the road in a crazy environment. And for a lot of these players, the upperclassmen can't really speak to this, but this was their first opportunity to play in an environment that was crazy. COVID didn't, really give you the opportunity to do that at all. So I think having that test out of the way was big early in the season. Ole Miss is one of those games that, was just kind of different. We knew that matchup was going to be a test for Alabama. The defense came out and proved themselves. And, for Pete Golding, I think it was a nice breath of fresh air to get the trust back a little bit. But, this Alabama team just needs to figure out, how they can tweak things up, because as a whole, this team has looked dominant so far. Now, injuries obviously have affected Alabama to an extent as well. You look at that outside linebacker group, no Chris Allen and now no Drew Sanders either. Who steps into that role? I'm interested to hear your take on that. Is it going to be Dallas Turner? Is it going to be Chris Braswell? Who fills in at outside linebacker, right? I still, I want to lean Dallas Turner at this point, but I still haven't made up my mind there.
I mean, I know. I mean, it's a big question mark. I mean, I'm not sure that we really will know until tomorrow, but I'm guessing it's going to be a combination of guys, because Nick Saban kept talking about that after the Florida game, that he wanted to get more guys into the mix. And, here we're in a situation where there's definitely some holes now. Jimbo Fisher made these comments earlier in the offseason. He doubled down on it. We're going to beat his ass. He's talking about Nick Saban in Alabama, right? Here's the game. And unfortunately for Texas A&M, they come in kind of limping, right? I mean, you're talking about a team now that lost back-to-back games to Arkansas and Mississippi State, and now they got to take on Alabama.
This team, and Jimbo Fisher has the personal relationship with Nick Saban, whatever else, but why would you give this team any kind of bulletin board material? I mean, this is Alabama, and this is an Alabama team that's a little bit younger. Coming into the season, there were those question marks. Is Bryce Young going to be able to step into that role, be that dude right away? If you want to make those comments in the offseason, whatever, but leading up to this matchup, it's been interesting to see, kind of how Jimbo Fisher has handled this, and, the things he said coming into this matchup. And I think Mississippi State for Texas A&M was a big trap game. it's in between, maybe their two biggest games of the season there, and now a top 10 team in Arkansas, and of course, number 1 Alabama. So, maybe you look at that game, they lose that game. They might have just, kind of had their heads towards this Alabama game and a little bit stuck in that Arkansas game. But, you have to come prepared, especially when you say things like that. And I think Texas A&M, like I said, is going to come prepared on defense. This is going to be a really good test for Alabama. I think that Florida defense was good, but they were a little bit hurt in that secondary. This Texas A&M defense as a whole, maybe the most well-rounded defense that Alabama has played to this point in the season. But, what is Alabama, I guess, chasing in this game? Because against Florida, they really needed to prove, hey, we can beat a ranked team. We're just as good as those guys last year. But in this game, it doesn't really feel like, now that Texas A&M is unranked, Alabama has anything to prove. I mean, what's your thought there? What is Alabama even trying to prove at this point in the season?
I think you just prove that you got to win the next game, and that's kind of what Nick Saban's mantra has been since the beginning. You're focused on the next game, and this one certainly feels like a game after the hype that came into Ole Miss that Alabama should stay focused on. Alabama playing Texas A&M for the 14th time, right? Bama's won the last 8. Last year, they won it 52-24, and it's, again, the first road game since Florida. Hey, guys, let me tell you about Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's great for your tailgates. You want to impress all the people that are hanging out with you watching football. Make them a peanut butter old-fashioned. That's 1 ounce Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, 1 ounce rye whiskey, 4 dashes of bitters. You garnish with a cherry and an orange peel, old-fashioned glass. It is fantastic. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is also brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now is a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. The Sabinator right now 24-0 against his assistants, and he'll have a chance to add to that later today. Or will Jimbo end the streak? We're going to talk about that when we come back. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show rolls on. We'll be right back.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Flora-Bama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Flora-Bama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Flora-Bama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Coming out here at the Flora-Bama in Perdido Key, Orange Beach with Trey Yanity. I'm Mick Gillispie. I got to laugh because they're Big Earl's playing a little Elvis off in the background. We got Yingling and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey swag we're giving away, and we're previewing Alabama, Texas A&M 7 o'clock kickoff. The show's brought to you by Yingling Lager. Yingling is a sixth-generation company, and Cheryl Yingling, who's part of the company's ownership, is a proud Alabama grad. And there's a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. Also try Flight, a low-carb, low-cal light lager. It is so. Trey Yanity from BamaInsider, the Alabama Rivals site. I'm Mick Gillispie, and we talk about this game, Alabama versus Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban. Not getting the hype going into this thing that we had last week when it was Nick Saban versus Lane Kiffin. And I guess it's just because Texas A&M hasn't really performed.
Yeah. This game, like I said at the top of the show, I think this game, maybe would be the game of the season if they had performed, but they just haven't to this point. And, I got to thank everybody getting in the comments tonight, hitting that like button for us. Keep it coming, guys. We want to hear your thoughts. We got Bombs coming. We got Sam, Jasper Fegans. Thanks for being here, guys. But, I think they'll agree with me that this Texas A&M team has been a disappointment. We thought this team was going to be, potentially a playoff team. And, coming into the season, I think they had that chip on their shoulder because, they finished the season at number 5 and probably deserved to get that last playoff spot over Notre Dame last year. But, they really haven't proven that chip was ever there because they haven't looked like a playoff caliber team. Even a team that would be competing in the SEC West this season. Nobody expected Arkansas to come onto the scene and, do what they've done this season and, really make the, Texas A&M look bad. And, it's if Hayes King was around, I think their season does look a lot different. But overall, you're having to rely on a running back. You're having to rely on a tight end and an offensive line that's not very good. I think Isaiah Spiller would thrive in any system, and I think he's doing well in Texas A&M system. But, you're going to have to really give him a crazy workload after Hayes King goes out, and it's just not been a good result for this team. I don't know if, maybe this is the game that Texas A&M turns it around and finds a way. We've seen certain teams put together their best performance of the season against Alabama. And, this rivalry, if you want to call it, this series has had some really interesting games. Of course, the Johnny Manziel, and all that. But I really don't think this is going to be a good game. I said it on our Pick'em show the other night. I think this could be a blowout. I thought Ole Miss was going to be a tight game just because of the offenses. This one, Alabama's going up against a very solid defense. You don't want to overlook this team as a whole, but I just don't think Texas A&M's offense is going to have what it takes to stick around.
And they're going to have to try to figure out a way to stick around. And I'll tell you this, Texas A&M has so many issues right now, and it all started with the injury to their starting quarterback, Hayes, right? And then after that, everything's just kind of fallen off after that. What do you think, having lost having lost the SEC hold on that area with Texas and Oklahoma, how does that affect Texas A&M moving forward?
It's going to get so interesting, Nick. You look at the world of recruiting, and it's kind of a head scratcher why Texas and Southern California and Florida and these schools aren't doing better. Because, I mean, they're in the hotbed. If you're in Austin, Texas, you could go 15 miles in any direction and find an elite starting 11 on both sides of the football. So, the fact that Texas A&M has been this good, has been so much better than Texas, I think is a result of them being in the SEC. And I think once Texas comes into the SEC, Oklahoma comes into the SEC, you're going to see those recruits, more specifically the defensive recruits, start to commit to Texas, maybe not Texas A&M. I think it was a perfect out for them at the time, Texas A&M that is, to get to the SEC, to, elevate their brand of football as a whole and not have to play Texas and Oklahoma every year. But, now that they're coming to the conference, I think they go back to maybe not necessarily a little brother role, but they're not going to be what they've been. They're not going to be the school in Texas. And I think that, maybe Texas, this is where they turn the corner. I think maybe Steve Sarkisian is the guy that can get them back to that elite success. Defensively, they're going to have to, start recruiting the football better. But I think that A&M has gone through maybe their best run that they're going to go through. I think Jimbo was an amazing hire. It's been great to see them, kind of become the best school in Texas. But it's going to change things, and they're going to be affected by it. It's been really interesting, though, even with A&M being in the SEC, Texas being in the Big 12, whatever, that Texas hasn't been able to get those guys that, even schools like Alabama can go in and get the Brockermeyer twins and, get the Jalen Waddles of the world right out of their backyard. I really do think once they join the SEC, we see all that change a lot.
Hey, look, the SEC is a big boys league, right? And injuries to the Aggies have destroyed this season. I mean, we talked about their quarterback, their offensive line, some guys on the defense as well. But there's no excuses, right? I mean, when you're at Alabama, you lose McClellan, you lose Allen, you lose Sanders. Somebody else has got to step up and take that spot. How could beating the Crimson Tide change the season for Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M? Because I feel like this is the last chance for them to salvage this season and make it a success.
Well, I think it changes not just this season, but for Jimbo Fisher, it could be career-changing if they beat Alabama this weekend. I mean, this is a former assistant coach that has an opportunity to be the first to beat Nick Saban. This is a chance for an Alabama team that hasn't lost since 2019 to take a loss. And, this is a chance for Texas A&M to toss out Mississippi State, toss out Arkansas, and, really be back. I don't want to say in playoff contention because they've already lost 2 games, but, back onto the scene for a New Year's Six Bowl and really a respectable season. If Texas A&M wins this game, now they don't have to beat Alabama next year, the year after that, or whatever. They get this win, and I think this is a prime opportunity for that. This is a Texas A&M team that doesn't have a lot of threats on offense other than their running back and maybe their tight end. But, this is a night game. This is in one of the top 10 biggest stadiums in the entire world. So I think this is an opportunity for Texas A&M if they're wanting to take advantage of it. Alabama blocks all that out, though. I mean, they've done it not just this season, but, since Nick Saban's been here. They don't worry about the crowd. They don't worry about the time of the game, who they're playing. I think Alabama's going to show up and go to work like we've seen them do all season. But, for Texas A&M, they maybe let those outsides in because it could be a motivator. We have the crowd. We have the nighttime atmosphere, and this is a chance to really get our season back on track.
Trey, awesome hanging out, man. Thank you for stepping in for Kyle. Great stuff today. And, roll tide, my friend. Next time you better come down here and hang out with me on the line at the Flora-Bama.
I was going to say, I need you to get me some screwball ready to go. But
hey, I'm telling you. I just gave you the recipe for the screwball old-fashioned, and I'm telling you, that's a good drink. Hey, look, Andrew Bone's coming up later in this first hour, and he's going to talk all about Jaleel Skinner committing to Alabama today. That was a huge, huge get for Alabama and the Crimson Tide. And we're going to talk with Chris Warner when we come back. He wrote a book about the history of tailgating. I thought that was interesting. I mean, it's a tailgate show. How did this all get started? He talks about it here at the Flora-Bama. But, guys, let me tell you this. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sonata, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating does not get any better. You need to swing by and see our buddy Barry Buckner. He will take great care of you. I promise you. He's an honest guy, and if you're in the market for a car, then he's definitely one of the people you want to go by and see. I mean, just go by there and check it out for yourself on the corner of Skyland and Hargrove Road. You're going to love it, and you're going to love him. and the people that work there for him. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk the history of Tailgate. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show returns right after this.
Introducing Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Now available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Riches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We're talking to you from the Flora-Bama, Perdido Key, Orange Beach, right here on the line, right here on the line between Alabama and Florida, and we're getting you ready for Alabama and Texas A&M. It's a late kick tonight, but Alabama, number 1 in the country, playing a very good Texas A&M team, so stick around as we talk about this game. Our show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery, and this segment with author Chris Warner is presented by Hotel Indigo. I'm going to mute that, but I'm going to show you what Hotel Indigo is all about. When I'm in Tuscaloosa, this is where I hang. You talk about the rooftop bar. You talk about all of the modern and fantastic amenities there. It is one of the coolest spots that you can go in Tuscaloosa if you're there to visit, you want to entertain. You're going to a football game. You're going to a graduation right there on the Black Warrior River, right? You can see Northport and where City Cafe is. You can basically walk the campus. You can go to the football games, all of that there. I love it. I think it's one of the best spots to stay in any of the places that I go, and it is the best hotel in Tuscaloosa. That's Hotel Indigo. All right, guys, it is great to talk about the SEC and tailgating on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show with a guy who wrote a book about tailgating, and I got it right here in my hand, Chris Warner. The book is Traditions of the Southeastern Conference, and it's a tailgater's guide to SEC football. Chris, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, no problem, Mick. It's glad to have you out here at the Flora-Bama. Lots of SEC fans here every week, and, tailgating is the biggest party every weekend in the South, for sure.
Well, look, like and subscribe as you guys hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And if you're listening on Jocks 2, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and North Alabama, Roll Tide, everybody. We got Chris on here to tell us why we love tailgating. You wrote I feel like the history of tailgating is right here in my hands in this book.
Well, it is, and that's what I want to talk about because everybody knows about the schools and their traditions. That's what makes it so interesting in the SEC. Each of the schools really are cool in their own right. They all have something unique, something interesting, something that makes them, so special in the SEC. Each school really is special, and you hear that from the fans. But the history of tailgating is fascinating because it parallels really the growth of modern college football in America. In the 1930s, they invented the electric lamp. Prior to that, all the football games were played during the day because they had to be. And that precluded or prevented all the farmers, people who were in agriculture, from attending the games. And then once the lamps came, they were able to have night football. But what that did is it preempted the day-long parties. You had night football, and then people would start partying all day long because you'd have night football. And the people who were working in the fields could go to the games. So they would all bring the party every football game, house to house, leading up to that night kickoff. And it was a big deal back then from the 1930s to the 1970s for 40 years unabated because everybody would dress up. It was the event. But then in the 1970s, they started putting college football on television in the mornings, and that disrupted that day-long partying event that they had. But people in the South wouldn't be daunted. They were not to be denied. They would still go out and tailgate. They would party in the back of their trucks, wagons, and use their tailgate. And that's how it started. It's fascinating. And then it became even more popular in the 1990s. They invented the Easy Up tent and all of that stuff. And so it's just basically proliferated into just one of the biggest parties that you can go to, a tailgate party. And it's taken the place of the county fair. There's no other place where you can go and see that many people, all your friends, in one place outside doing one thing together.
Yeah, look, I mean, like when you go to college at Alabama or any of the schools in the South, I mean, it's like a competition to have the best tailgate party. I remember when Ole Miss stunk, which, was a lot, right?
Well,
they'd always say, yeah, right, like last week. You would go there and they would say, hey, we might not have won the game, but we won the party. And you go out on the Grove, and it was that case.
And that's a great place. What's great about the Grove is their solidarity. Everyone is on top of each other practically in one spot. They don't spread it out. Everyone really kind of crams together, and that makes it unique. It makes it sociable. You have to talk to people. And, of course, they have all the candelabras out there. They've got silverware and guys in tuxedos serving cocktails and all the Southern bells. It's quite a scene.
So tell me, what do you do to research tailgating in the SEC?
Well,
do you go to every school and tailgate? I mean, what are you doing to dig into the research of a book like this?
Well, this book, there's a history of college football in the South, which I pulled largely from a book written by Nathan Doherty, Dr. Doherty, who was the father of the University of Tennessee athletic program. He was a PhD, and he wrote a book called Educators and Athletes published in 1976, and it was all about ringers and tramp athletes and guys who, after the Civil War, played football. They were the toughest young men. So I was fascinated by all that. This book has a history of college football in the South. It has a history of the SEC, the conference itself, and then chapters on the 14 schools, how they got their mascots, colors, nicknames, bail bondsmen's, hospitals, recipes, where to shop and golf.
Well, this is a Bama show. Give me some Bama stories, Chris.
Some Bama stories. Did you know that Alabama and Auburn didn't play the Iron Bowl for over 40 years? There was a dispute over travel expenses, which is amazing to me. And, A&M in Texas, they are upset that they're going to have to play each other again in the SEC, but that's good football. Can you imagine if Alabama and Auburn were still not playing? That would be a loss for everyone. So that's an interesting story. I'm a big fan of Bear Bryant. He's just one of the more romantic figures, in college football, not just SEC. And I enjoyed looking at Bear's life, his coaching life, his record. It's unbelievable. When I was a kid, I lived in Birmingham. My dad worked for Union Oil, and I remember him. He was from Los Angeles, California. My dad's no longer here. And I remember him pointing at the television, and he was in his lazy boy slugging Schlitz, and he said, "That's Bear Bryant, son. He's won more games than anybody in college football history." And so those were some of my earliest memories of college football, is Bear Bryant. And,
where's the best place to tailgate, in your opinion? I mean, have you gone to all the schools to tailgate?
I've been to all of them except Kentucky. My alma mater plays Kentucky this week. I'm not going to go watch LSU play Kentucky. But I've been to all of them. And, I don't think there's a bad place to tailgate in the SEC. But if you go to Baton Rouge, you're going to eat differently than everywhere else. Right. And if you go to Ole Miss, I think it's going to be a different experience. If you go to South Carolina, I tailgated on a little train they have outside the stadium,
right. Yeah.
The Cockaboose Express. In Tennessee, you're getting on a bunch of boats outside the stadium.
The Vol Navy.
Yeah, the what do they call it? The flotilla.
Yeah.
Out there in the Tennessee River. So everywhere you go, you're gonna have a different experience, and you're gonna respect the people for their traditions and their history and for their passion for their school. It's hard to believe, but South Carolina has not been traditionally a successful football school. They did have 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Lou Holtz and Spurrier, back to back, but they still really maintain one of the best attendance rates in the country. So the SEC is full of rabid football fans.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Chris, let's talk about the book and where people can get it. Now, I'm sitting with you here at the Flora-Bama. You'll sign them when people come by. If you're here, Traditions of the SEC, A Tailgater's Guide to SEC Football. You said of all the books, and you've written a lot of books, this is the most successful book you've done.
Yeah, and this is the 5th version. It was the very first book I ever wrote. I wrote a book about Richard Scrushy and Hell South, the wagon to disaster. I wrote the history of the Flora-Bama, bushwhacked at the Flora-Bama. I do have a website for those of you out there who might want to read more about me and maybe get a copy of a real book. I do have all the books in digital form on Amazon and the other digital formats, but ChrisWarnerAuthor.com, you can find out more about me and my books.
You look great, dude. I got to tell you that. Before we go to commercial, I love the Hawaiian shirt. You got the Cuban hat on right now.
Hey,
and you live down here. You told me you live across the street from the Flora-Bama. You write books.
That's right.
About tailgating in the Flora-Bama. I mean, that seems like a pretty good life, huh?
Right. I just wrote a novel called Mamu about Mardi Gras in the South. It involves Mobile Mardi Gras. One thing I want to tell you, when I moved to Fairhope from Baton Rouge in 2003, they found out that I was from Louisiana, and the first question they asked was, Alabama or Auburn, who's it going to be? And I'm like, I'm an LSU fan. They go, you still have to decide.
Who'd you pick?
So, I picked
Auburn.
I think I picked Alabama.
Okay.
I think I just flipped a coin, really. But I do have a daughter at Alabama and one at Auburn. But the other thing that they told me, being from Louisiana, is they said, who invented Mardi Gras, huh? And I didn't know that.
No, you didn't know. It was Mobile.
Now, Mobile invented Mardi Gras, but in 1703, Mobile was the capital of Louisiana.
Wow.
Prior to that, it was Camp St. Louis, named after the Sun King, Louis XIV. House of Bourbon, Bourbon Street in New Orleans. But it was a Louisiana thing. It was the same French people who founded New Orleans. They had not yet settled New Orleans.
Yeah.
So Mobile was the capital of Louisiana, and it did create the first Mardi Gras. And today it is in the state of Alabama, but Mardi Gras is a Louisiana product.
No, I agree with you. Chris Warner, in his book, is Traditions of the Southeastern Conference, a tailgater's guide to SEC football. Let me remind you guys to like and subscribe as you hang out with us here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Andrew Bone's coming up. Alabama had a huge commitment today, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. Another big-time recruiting class. And don't forget, tonight after the game, we're going to do it. You know what we're going to do? The post-game show, and that is going to be after Alabama plays. So a late-night game and a late-night post-game show. So don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show is coming up.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Flora-Bama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Flora-Bama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Flora-Bama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we get you ready for Alabama and Texas A&M. 6 o'clock kickoff actually 7 o'clock kickoff from College Station, Texas. Did I get that right, Bone? Is it 6 or 7? It's a later game, and we bring on Andrew Bone to talk about that and other stuff. But first, guys, let me tell you about my buddy Barry Buckner and Tuscaloosa Hyundai. We're brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, and this appearance by Andrew Bone in this segment presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating doesn't get any better. Here's Barry to tell you more.
Trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling? At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
All right, Bone, let's talk recruiting, man. There's so much going on in the world of recruiting, and that includes last week's Alabama-Ole Miss game with a visit from the most sought-after college, high school player in the history of recruiting, Arch Manning.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the, most talked about recruitments, most talked about, players, especially once he gets to college, that we've seen, maybe in the last 20 years. I mean, Arch Manning is a big name, obviously coming from the Manning family. And, he is the number one player in the country in that 2023 recruiting class. Pretty much has his choice of any school he wants to go to in the country. But, yeah, I do think, even though they're not saying, hey, here are our top schools, here are the select schools that we're looking at, I do feel like if you follow the visits, you kind of know which schools are really in the hunt for him. And he's taken, multiple visits to a few different schools over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. Including Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Texas, Ole Miss. These are some schools that are, definitely going to be high on the list, and definitely schools that are in strong contention for him. And he made a trip back to Tuscaloosa this past weekend for the Ole Miss game, which kind of knocks out 2 birds with one stone. We know his interest in Ole Miss, and his family has a home in Oxford. Obviously his grandfather is an absolute legend. His uncle Eli played there, and his father Cooper went to school there. So Ole Miss is certainly a top contender for him. But in my opinion, I don't think he's dead set on following in their footsteps to Ole Miss. And, it's something that he's going to, obviously get a lot of pressure to do. But I certainly think that Alabama, Texas are certainly top contenders. Georgia, Clemson, all these schools are certainly pushing hard for him. And, another great visit to Tuscaloosa this past weekend. You're not going to get a lot from the Manning family just because they're very careful as to what they say, who they say it to. But they're also going to be pretty, generic in their answers. Great visit, great hospitality. Enjoyed a good game, great atmosphere, stuff like that you're typically going to hear from top recruits when they visit. But just from talking to different people who are around them, just great people. I hadn't heard anything negative about the Mannings at all. Very easy people to host. And just very just very welcoming in terms of just being able, or very approachable, being able to spend some time with them. The coaches really like the relationship they've built with the Mannings so far. Really led by Pete Golding, of all people, the defensive coordinator, who is in charge of Arch's recruitment, has been recruiting him for a very long time so far. So now you got to build that relationship with the offense coordinator. Obviously, Coach Saban's going to be there, but we've seen kind of a revolving door of offensive coordinators through the years. Obviously, a lot of successful coordinators, but not much really has changed in the offense. You still, they're still putting up a lot of points. They're still getting the ball out to receivers. You're still getting quarterbacks drafted in the first round and producing these, Heisman Trophy candidates at the quarterback position. So even though Coach Sark left Alabama for Texas after last year, Bill O'Brien comes in, and what do you know? You have front runner for the Heisman Trophy and Bryce Young right now. So I think that's something that certainly speaks volumes to top recruits, that even though they might lose an offensive coordinator, the beat goes on. You're not really going to miss anything in Tuscaloosa at Alabama. And as we know, Alabama recruits the best players in the country. And you're going to have a great offensive line. You're going to have great running backs. You're going to have great receivers, great tight ends. You're going to have people that are going to be able to that you're going to be able to get the ball to. So I think Alabama is certainly a top contender for him. They're going to get him back on campus a few more times before he makes that decision. Now, in terms of his decision, I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon. I think we're going to wait it out. We're kind of getting back to normal in the recruiting world because, this past summer was really the first time recruits started visiting schools again. Now they're going to games. Here in a couple months, we're going to see kids going to junior days again. We're going to see kids going to spring games and going back out to camp. So I think things are going to kind of get back to normal in terms of the the actual schedule. This summer we saw when kids first started going back on visits, they took their official visits and then they took their game visits. Now a lot of kids are going on their game visits as juniors. They're going to go to junior day. They're going to go on summer visits. Then they're going to take official visits and make that decision. So, they're going to have a lot of visits under their belt. Arch is probably going to announce, I would assume, before his senior season. I don't think he's going to create this big spectacle and wait all the way until National Signing Day and have everyone questioning what he's going to do. I can see him making that decision before his senior year so that he can get complete focus to his senior season and then go on to to whichever college he decides to choose. But Alabama is a contender, and they're going to be a contender for a long time.
He's Andrew Bone, the BamaInsider.com recruiting expert. You can read his work at BamaInsider.com and a regular part of the Bama Insider Tailgate show before every Crimson Tide football game. Texas A&M and Alabama, they go head-to-head for players once in a while. Alabama has gone into the Lone Star State and has plucked off some pretty amazing talent. But they've lost a couple of guys to the Aggies over the years. Are there any battles that are taking place right now between these two schools?
Absolutely. Texas A&M recruits at a very high level. They recruit not only in the state of Texas, but also coast to coast. And, a lot of those guys, also have high interest in Alabama. Start on the defensive line. There's two defensive linemen who have very high interest in both programs. And that's Walter Nolan out of Tennessee, who's going to be in College Station this weekend, five-star defensive lineman. And also Anthony Lucas, Rivals 100 defensive end from Scottsdale, Arizona. So both of those guys, definitely a tight recruiting battle right now. I would say Alabama has a little bit of a better shot with Anthony Lucas, whereas Walter Nolan didn't have Alabama in his top three about a month ago when he came out with his top three, but has recently said Alabama still very much in the picture, is going to take an official visit to Alabama for that LSU game. Denver Harris, a five-star cornerback out of Texas, even though I don't see him going to A&M. He has at A&M in his top four. Obviously being an in-state kid for the Aggies, but still kind of see him more as an Alabama LSU recruiting battle. Enai White, defensive end, linebacker out of Philadelphia, not Mississippi, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I know you like Philadelphia, Mississippi there, Mick.
You know it.
But I think that A&M and Alabama very high on his list, along with Ohio State. Georgia used to be considered kind of the team to beat for him, but they've fallen off over the last few months or so, the last few weeks. But
right,
Enai White certainly a top guy for both of those programs, and we're going to continue to see a lot of recruiting battles for years to come. I mean,
right.
Texas being in the SEC, recruiting top kids in Texas. Alabama, as we know, loves to recruit kids in the state of Texas. They signed so many players last year. They had just a tremendous amount of success, and really the only besides Denver Harris, the only other guy in the state of Texas that they're really involved with is Jamarion Miller, who's Rivals 100 running back that's committed to Texas, but still taking some visits elsewhere. Might also visit A&M, so we're keeping an eye on Jamarion Miller as well. But yeah, I mean Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher.
Head to head.
Head to head. I mean, they have some great recruiting battles, and even though it's Alabama, Jimbo Fisher's been able to win some battles, especially with some defensive linemen from the state of Texas. They got McKinley Jackson a couple of years ago from the state of Mississippi, who many felt like he was going to end up at Alabama. Of course, we know Alabama's success in Texas, but they also were able to flip a big-time recruit a few years ago when Christian Harris flipped his commitment from Aggies to Alabama in late November.
That was a big one. Bone, tell us about Andrew J. Bone Real Estate.
Yeah, Andrew J. Bone Real Estate Group, where we operate in the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa market. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, purchase a condo, or rent a property on game day weekends, please give us a shout at 205-531-5577. Do not text that number for recruiting info, because you will not get an answer from me. It is not my cell phone number.
Nope.
It is our company phone number. And a nice woman will answer, but she will not be able to answer your recruiting questions.
Hey, I about forgot, but there was a big commitment for Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. Big commitment today. Jaleel Skinner, Rivals 100 tight end out of IMG Academy, originally from Greer High School in South Carolina, chooses Alabama over Texas, Miami, Florida State, and Clemson. Really athletic dude, 6'5", about 215 pounds. Reminds me of Jaleel Skinner a good bit. Jaleel Skinner. Of course, he reminds me of Jaleel Skinner because he is
just like him.
Just like him. But Jaleel Billingsley, this is a really athletic kid, can stretch the field, and just adds to Alabama's just impressive offensive class, especially at the tight end position. You now have Jaleel Skinner, Elijah Brown, Amari Neblock. Amari Morse, can play just about any position. He's an athlete, 6'4", 230 pounds. It's a tight end, wide receiver. Could potentially play outside linebacker, but if he ends up being a tight end, then you look at Alabama's tight end class this year, and it's extremely impressive. And we've seen what Alabama's been able to do with tight ends this year, especially with Cam Latu and Jaleel Billingsley. It's certainly becoming an attractive offense for top tight ends throughout the country.
Hanging out at the Flora-Bama with the Bama Insider Tailgate Show down here, Perdido Key, Orange Beach. Our show is presented by Yuengling Lager. We're going to drink a Yuengling later on in the show as we hang out and preview Alabama and Texas A&M. Special thanks to Andrew Bone. You can always catch his work at BamaInsider.com. He's got the latest on recruiting. When we come back, second hour of the show, we got a lot going on here, including Big Earl from Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits, the headliner at the Flora-Bama. Don't go anywhere.
Yuengling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Witch's Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Second hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we get you ready for Alabama and Texas A&M, the #1 Crimson Tide. College Station today. They'll take on the Aggies. Jimbo Fisher, former Nick Saban assistant, against the master himself. And that game tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time from the Lone Star State. Hey, guys, let me remind you that the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And as I hang out at the Flora-Bama, I got a cold Yuengling. That's where we are for tonight's game. And also, let me tell you this. If you are listening right now on Jocks in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Roll Tide to you, maybe throughout the state of Alabama, or if you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks for being here with us tonight. The show is brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating doesn't get any better. I'll tell you what doesn't get any better is hanging out here at the Flora-Bama with really a legend of this beach bar, Big Earl.
Oh,
what's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm flirting with these 2 good-looking honeys over here in Flora-Bama. Well, one good-looking one. They got to fight it out which one.
Yeah, right. Man, you've been doing this down here, like 25 years? You've been playing the shows?
It'll be 27 in January.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I'm old as dirt.
Look, man, I'm not going to say you're old as dirt, but when I come here, if your show's playing, and this is a venue that has college football. We're going to have all the games on. They're on now. They play all the sports, like we're right here on the sand. But it's also a music place. And for someone like you, who's a songwriter and a longtime musician, to kind of be the guy that people think about when they come here, I mean, it's got to feel good and special.
Man, I've had such a great time here over the years. They let me do whatever I want to do. It's fun. The people that come here make it fun. I mean, there's all walks of life. I love it here, and I love football. Of course, I'm an Arkansas Razorback fan, and I may have got a little excited here last week.
Yeah.
Until they played Georgia, they beat us like a dog.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good matchup, but they've had a great season so far.
Finally, I mean, after 3 decades, if I have to hear another building decade, I'm gonna shoot somebody in the damn head. But my Hogs looking better than they ever have. You know, we're playing Mississippi Saturday. It's 11 o'clock, and I'm looking for. Hopefully, I'll be out of bed to watch that.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about like what it's like to play at the Flora-Bama. I mean, I know you played a lot of places, but you know, this is where our show is right now. We do our show here, you know, every once in a while. I just love coming in here. Like when I walk in, I feel like this place has a vibe.
Man, if you can't have a good time here, you're not going to have fun anywhere. Here's what it's like to play at the Flora-Bama. You never know who's going to be here. I was playing here a few weeks ago, and Tracy Lawrence comes in.
Yeah.
18 number 1 hits. Gets on stage, plays all night with me. Then he hires me to play his birthday party in Nashville.
Really?
And stuff, people come in, you know, sports figures. I mean, everybody comes into the Flora-Bama. It's just great to be able to see that here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've heard stories, and honestly, I'm disappointed because I remember that Friday night when Tracy Lawrence was here. I was supposed to be here, and then it didn't work out. It was because of it was bad weather. I live in Fairhope, so didn't get down here. But it seems like there's always kind of a Kenny Chesney showed up, or Hank Jr. showed up, or somebody showed up. So I'm sure over 27 years. I mean, you've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know. Riley Greenwich is here. Of course, he grew up down here. He used to get on stage and play with me when he was just a little bitty whippersnapper, they said. I remember one day we were back here, and this is years ago, and he got to arm wrestling people, Riley. Beating them one after another. Next thing I know, I hear this crack, and he cracked somebody's arm, clean him to the bones.
No.
Shoved out. Yeah, I mean, I'm going, ooh, I don't think I want to arm wrestle that kid. Now he's even got bigger. So you didn't want to tell him he couldn't sing very well back then. He could take you out.
Oh, that's so funny. Big Earl from Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that name?
Well, first of all, we're very sexy and we like biscuits. So I guess, I mean, I'm 60 years old. We got 3 others that are 60 years old. Then we got a 50-year-old. So we've got several hundred years of experience between us all. And you can tell I'm liking biscuits because I'm turning into Big Earl as we speak. The more I eat.
Hanging out at the Flora-Bama, this segment is presented by Sevierville. Start your Smokies here.
This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Getting that time where you start to think about the holidays, Sevierville, great place to do it. We're hanging out on the beach, though, right now, the other end of it. You go to the beach, you go to the mountains. We got Big Earl from Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits. And, of course, I'm Mick Gillispie on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, doing it from the Flora-Bama and talking about, you know, just what it's like to hang out down here with a legend in this area, playing music in Big Earl. I'm a big college football fan, too. You like to tease people with the Sweet Home Alabama, but you don't ever play it, do you?
No, I have a wheel apparatus, and they can spin it and take their chances on it. And it usually lands on Sweet Home Alabama or something close to it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Like, what makes your show special is not only that you're a great musician and your guys do a nice job, but it's a comedy show too. Like, you're funny. Like, you guys have like an act, and it's a great act. Was there a time where you're like, you know what, man, I'm gonna turn this into something that's more than just me playing music?
Well, I remember that very vividly. In the early 90s, I had a record deal in Nashville. I had 3 videos out on CMT. Tour, you know, had the bus, and a record label lost a lot of money on me, a lot. So I came back to Alabama and went back to school during daytime, played here at night, and I tried to give away my CD for $5. Nobody would take it. And I said, all right, the first person with an out-of-state driver's license, I'll give it to you. Nobody came up. And this is a Bama, so everyone's from out of state here.
Yeah, right.
And I thought, you know what, forget that. I'm going to start doing what I always wanted to do. I'm going to start doing funny songs. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to do. I can't do any worse, and I've had the most fun since then. And yeah, like I always say, I used to teach cardiac ultrasound. I'd tell my kids, my student, you're going to wake up dead one morning. You better have fun. And I have fun every day.
No doubt about it. What's cool is that, like, not only now do you play here, but they have their own iHeart radio station. You're a host of one of the show, right? You do like the Big Earl show on there, which a brilliant idea, great station, right? If you're listening to music, I mean, it kind of has the vibe of Flora-Bama, and then you come on and tell stories and joke around.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I can't believe, and they pay me too. Not much. I don't get the kind of money you get, but I make hundreds of dollars a year. But it's a great station, Flora-Bama Radio on iHeartRadio. And my show is at noon on Fridays. It's called Big Earl's Dive Bar Cafe. And I don't know how long they're going to let me have it. I get reprimanded a lot, but I'm having fun right now.
That's ridiculous, but it's awesome. When you come in and you see the crowd, how do you come up with the concept of what you're going to bring up that night? Or do you kind of have that all planned out before you get there?
What's up?
As everybody comes by and says hi to you, by the way. Too.
Well, no, I don't have anything planned out. I get up there and I talk a minute or so to them and maybe ask where they're from and just start in from there, you know. It's got to the point where everybody knows it's not a good idea to bring their kids to my show.
No.
Hey, but we adjust if need be. But everything is pretty spontaneous. We have a lot of. Hey, here's what it used to be. Big Earl. I brought my boys here from Atlanta. Play this song. Play that song.
Yeah, right.
Now it's Big Earl. Brought my boys from Atlanta. Say this. Say that. Same thing over.
Right. Make them laugh.
But hey, it's so much fun here. And the Flora-Bama, they've never one time said, yeah, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, right. Well, let's talk about one of my mutual friends that it was one of your mutual friends. The other thing is, like, one of the best memories I have is my wife and I came to Flora-Bama, and we walked across the street. It was years ago. And it was before, I mean, it's all changed now, right? It was before the yacht club was there. It was before the Old River Grill. It was like the liquor store had like this annex, right? And I walked in there, and this guy that I knew from college, Wayne Mills, was in there playing, man.
I love Wayne.
And I told my wife, I said, Wayne and I were buddies. I said, I'm just telling you, walked in, and Wayne stopped playing, and he gave me a shout out. And we sat up there, and he was like, what do you want to hear, man? You know? You love Wayne Mills, too.
Love Wayne Mills. I got to do a couple of shows with him out of town one time. And I never knew he had a son named Jack, and that's my real name. I go by Big Earl because I'm not proud. I mean, I've heard the music I do, and it's not very good. I didn't want to be associated with it. But Wayne, you talk about, that was one of my heroes. That guy, he had a stage presence. He could sing. We lost a good one there. He's a great guy.
Yeah, played football at Alabama. Played at Harry's on Tuesday nights when I was a student. You know, and going there and got to know him and his crew. And so, you know, when I walk upstairs here, you know, he's got his picture up there. I mean, there's just a piece of my youth that every time I think about Wayne Mills and guys like you that I love watching and that perform here and make this such a special venue, you know.
Oh, it's great. I mean, yeah, I used to give him a little grief about playing for football, you know, for Alabama, and I'm an Arkansas fan. And let me ask you this: what do you think the score of the Alabama-Arkansas game is going to be this year?
Honestly, I think it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be within 14 points. I mean,
we'll beat Alabama by 14.
No, I don't think. I would doubt that would happen. But I will tell you this though: Arkansas. It reminds me of Alabama from 10 years ago. Like they're big up front. They're tough. And I've bet against them so many times and lost this year. I took them last week and lost again. I'm so tired of betting them. Trying to figure this Arkansas team out.
Let me tell you the hardest thing about playing at Bama when they know you're Arkansas fan. Everybody comes up to you. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. You want to get something to eat? Roll Tide. Let's go get a drink. Roll Tide.
Well, how can people find your stuff? Where can people go to check out Big Earl, whether they come to Flora-Bama or some of the other spots you're going to be?
Yeah, you can go to my website. I live in Alabama, so alabamabigEarl.com, alabamabigEarl.com, or you can find me on, Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. Now, I just started a podcast. And you can find me there on the, platform that hosts it, I guess. And that's called Well, I wish I remember what it's called. I'm thinking my radio.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I've had a cocktail already. Big Earl's Hot Skillet.
But look, when you come to Flora-Bama, make sure you catch Big Earl. And also, don't forget that he is at Big Earl's Hot Skillet, or you can also catch him on Flora-Bama Radio. That's a iHeart digital station. Man, thanks for doing this.
You're the man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Great hanging out with Big Earl. Don't forget, guys, that we want you to like and subscribe to the Bama Insider YouTube channel. It's really easy to do. All you got to do is click right there and click the bell. And when we come back, we're going to have Jeff Cameron on. We're going to make our picks.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
You can't spell Alabama without the Bama. And you can't spell Flora-Bama without the Bama. That's not the only thing that Alabama football and the Flora-Bama have in common. There's heritage and pride. And, of course, keeping the fans happy. For 57 years, this iconic honky-tonk on the Alabama state line has been keeping our customers happy with the utmost attention on customer service. Great food, live music 365 days a year, and more events than we have time to list. Get the info you need at Flora-Bama.com. Make your plans to join us on the line.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Well, howdy, fans, and welcome to Week 6 of Leonard's Losers. The little smart pill machine sputtered at 17-9 last week, but did nail the upset special Florida versus Kentucky. It was a topsy-turvy week with 9 of the top 25 AP teams suffering losses. Let's get started and look at this week's losers. Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech. The homestanding Hokies are 3-1 coming off a bye week, while the Pope's pupils were clawed by a Bearcat at home. Hokie Bird has played well, giving up only 15 points per game. If Gobbler's quarterback Braxton Burmeister can put the home team on the board early, the Irish might not get back on the winning track in Blacksburg. Leonard's loser in a close one, Notre Dame. Alabama versus Texas A&M. The Pachyderms pranced to College Station for this Saturday night primetime slobber knocker. The Tide is riding high in the pole position. The Aggies are 4-1 coming off a 4-point loss to a Starkville Bulldog. A&M coach Jimbo Fisher will have to suit up more than the 12th man to prevent the Tide from inundating Kyle Field. Leonard's loser, Texas A&M. LSU versus Kentucky. Mike the Tiger heads to the Big Blue Nation for this Saturday night clash at Kroger Field. The Cats have to be purring proudly after their upset of a Gator last week. That monumental win took the Wildcats to 5-0 and a well-deserved 16 spot in the polls. Boys from the Bayou are struggling a bit at 3-2, coming off a loss to a War Eagle. Coach Stoops praised the raucous Bluegrass crowd in contributing to 8 false starts against Mullins' men last week, and the Lexington faithful should show Coach O the same hospitality. Leonard's loser, LSU. Michigan versus Nebraska. The unbeaten Wolverines head to Lincoln looking to shuck some corn. The Huskers are 3-3 coming off an impressive win against Northwestern, hoping they may have turned the corner. Trash talk began Monday as Huskers linebacker JoJo Doman tweeted, "Bring it on," in response to facing Michigan's high-powered running game. 17 teams still undefeated, and somebody's got to fall Saturday. Leonard's loser in an upset, Michigan. Well, fans, that does it for week 6. And remember, if you can't wear a smile, wear a white hat so we can tell you from the bad guys. Get me out of here, Percy.
Welcome back into the Bama Insider Tailgate Show as we talk to you from the world-famous Flora-Bama. Like and subscribe, hit the bell as you hang out on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And for all of you that are listening right now, maybe on our flagship station, that would be Jocks 2, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, or around the state of Alabama. Roll Tide as we preview Alabama and Texas A&M kickoff at 6 o'clock from College Station, Texas. Before we bring on our next guest, Jeff Cameron, let me tell you guys about Pearl River Resort, right? Not only is it an awesome place to go gamble on the sports book, but you can play golf. Dancing Rabbit. It is one of the best golf courses in the area, maybe the best in the state of Mississippi. And it's just a touchdown throw from Tuscaloosa. And right now, if you bet $50 or more at the sports book, you get to play Dancing Rabbit, which for those of you that are watching right now, you see it, Dancing Rabbit for $25. So it does not get any better than that. All right, let me bring on my main man here, Jeff Cameron. You guys know him from his daily show, the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 in Tallahassee. You may know him from warchant.com. He's also on Sirius XM as he talks golf there, but he's mostly known for his college picks as part of the College Sports Book. He is Jeff Cameron. Jeff, great to see you, my friend.
It's great to see you too, Mick. Another weekend of college football ahead of us. I know when we started this, we thought at the time that the Alabama-Texas A&M game could be a great game, a nail-biter. I don't think so this time, buddy. I don't know how Texas A&M is going to score. So all the Roll Tide folks out there are going to be happy. If we were picking this game, I'd tell you, I'd take Alabama all day long.
Yeah, right. Bama's a little banged up. We'll talk about that, though, coming up. But let's say this, Jeff, you won last week. Our
All
four
right.
picks. Yeah, you went 2-2. You took Cincinnati over Notre Dame. They crushed. Your lock hit, and you're on to something here with Oregon State. You picked Oregon State over Washington. We both lost Arkansas at UGA, and you took Ole Miss and the points against Bama.
Ooh.
That was the only game I got right, and the rest of them, I'm wrong. I'm tired of Arkansas. They keep beating me each and every week. They did it again this week. Last week I took them. They lost. Notre Dame got whooped. Maybe the best win in Cincinnati history. And how about this one? My lock of the week was the worst one you could pick. I took Cal State minus 10.5 at Hawaii. Not only did they not cover, but they also lost the football game. So I was 1-3. You were 2-2. That brings us to just a game difference right now. I'm 11-9. You're 10-10, and we head into week 6 of our picks. And I think I go first, right?
I think your time to go first, and I like it. I smell blood in the water, Mick. You sound a little uneasy. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, we got to pick games after 6 o'clock this week. So we're going to miss out on some of the real big games, but most of those, if you're listening on radio, have been played. So we're going to start with LSU at number 16, Kentucky. Kentucky giving up 3 points. I'm so bent on this game. Through 5 games, the LSU offense is averaging 31.4 points per game and 369 plus yards. They're not doing a whole lot though on the ground. 303 of those yards only are through the air, only 66 on the ground. You figure against a team like Kentucky, you're going to have to run the ball. The Tigers are only giving up 23 points a game. They got beat last week by Auburn in a game that they should have won at home. Kentucky, on the other hand, is weird, right? They're averaging 28 points a game. They're averaging just under 400 yards per game, and they split it pretty evenly. 208 through the air, 189 on the ground. Defensively, they're only giving up 16 points per contest, right? And they're not really getting beat either way. They have a really good defense. And they're at home, and they're coming off one of the biggest wins in program history. They paid a lot of money to the SEC, or they're going to, because they rushed the field after beating Florida for the first time in a lot of people watching or listening's lifetime at home, right? But LSU this year, 4-1 against the spread on their last 5 home games. LSU's also 6-1 straight up against Kentucky in their last 7 games. I'm still debating here. LSU is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games when playing on the road against Kentucky. Maybe that's it. I mean, I remember Kentucky always kind of being a thorn in their side. Kentucky's 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. And they're 4-0-1 in their last 5 road games, the last 5 SEC games against the spread. So what does all that mean? It means that as much as I hate to do it, I'm going to take Kentucky to win this football game. I just feel like this is their season. They'll find a way to do it. It's going to be a sellout. LSU struggles. They'll have better players, but that's something that Ed Orgeron really hasn't been able to do anything with so far this year. Give me Kentucky. I'm giving up 3.
Yeah, I got Kentucky here as well. And I'll tell you, it's extenuating circumstances because Mick, LSU does have better players. But it doesn't matter because they're coached by Ed Orgeron, who's terrible. And he's just 2 years removed from a national championship that we all know that his, wonder kid OC won, who's now with the Carolina Panthers. It was great when Joe Burrow was there. It was a lot of fun. LSU was top of the heap. But, man, now they're talking about firing this guy. There is blood in the water there at LSU, and Max Johnson can't do it all by himself. They do not do a good job of running the football, and they're being one-dimensional on the road against a Kentucky team that believes. I'm going to take Kentucky. I like it, which means we're both going to lose this game.
Yeah, right. That's exactly how I feel. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The second game is Michigan at Nebraska. Nebraska's a home dog, 3.5. They're giving up to nationally ranked Michigan, Jeff.
I know we're on the other side of this game, buddy. I've got Nebraska. I'm going to take Nebraska at home. I know it doesn't look like it, but Nebraska's playing better these days. They really should have won the Michigan State game. They outplayed Michigan State the whole game. If it hadn't been for a punt return and a trick play, they would have won the game. I don't think they're good. I also don't think Michigan's good, and Michigan's beat up. I just think it's a really low-scoring, ugly affair. I don't like it. It's sort of a pillow fight with these two offenses. So I'll take Nebraska to cover.
Look, Michigan's 5-0, and they're ranked in the top 10 in the AP after 2 straight wins against Big Ten opponents. They're trying to stay undefeated. They go on the road, as you mentioned, to Nebraska at Memorial Stadium. Scott Frost trying to save his job. The Huskers are 3-3. They played competitive football against Oklahoma. We should give them that. They had a competitive loss, as you mentioned, to Michigan State. We should give them back that as well. The problem is that those moral victories don't equal anything. I mean, the Huskers need 500 yards to win the football game. They're not getting 500 yards against Michigan, right? And I think that's what it comes down to. When they get 500 yards, they win. When they don't, they lose. Nebraska's 7-1 over the last seasons, when the last 3 seasons when they have 500 yards. But I feel like Michigan's defense is going to be too good. I like the way that Michigan played against Wisconsin. Yeah, we know that Michigan is better than Wisconsin. Everybody is right now. Cade McNamara has done a nice job at quarterback. They have just been one of those teams that has found a way to win. They have been recruiting at a high level over the years. And Harbaugh has been kind of put on the hot seat, but I feel like this is his year. I kind of feel the tide turning in the Michigan direction. You're right. We're on different sides of this. I'm going with the hot hand again, just like I did last game. And I'm taking Michigan with absolutely no feel for any of these games. All right. Notre Dame is at Virginia Tech, and Tech is +1, and it's my turn to go first. All right. Last week, we know Notre Dame got whooped at home by number 5 Cincinnati 24-13. Virginia Tech won at home 21-10 over Richmond. So that's one of those games like you won the game, but it was a disappointing game. I mean, you're a 29-point favorite. You're supposed to win that game against an FCS opponent, and you're supposed to do it in a stunning fashion. You know, Notre Dame 3-1. They barely got away from Florida State. You were there for that one. They barely got away from Toledo. You know, they beat Purdue, but it wasn't a really great game. They beat the Badgers, right, in Chicago in that Shamrock Series game. But the problem was all the points were at the end of the game when it was really over, and it was more Wisconsin handing them the points, and then they got beat up by Cincinnati last week. We don't know what the deal is with Jack Cohen. He's had the finger. He's had the knee. You know, Drew Pine now pushing for the quarterback spot. You know, he came in 9-22, 143 yards and a touchdown against Cincinnati. That's not that good in this day and age of football. Cohen was 14-22 with 114 and an interception against Cincinnati. Bottom line is that Notre Dame now has a quarterback controversy. I've always liked Braxton Burnmeister because he's so fast. I mean, remember we talked about how fast he was. Jalen Holston has been making plays for Tech. You know, they got Trey Turner also catching the ball. I'm going with Virginia Tech at home. That's another one of these games. I wouldn't be surprised which way it went, but I love Virginia Tech at night. And I just feel like now that Notre Dame's been beaten, more losses are yet to come.
They were lucky to be undefeated to begin with. They probably should have lost to Florida State. They had really tough games at home prior. Now, obviously, they hammered Wisconsin in the fourth quarter. Those were mostly defensive scores with all the interceptions. But they can't run the ball, Mick. They can't run the ball at all. And they don't, you know, when you can't run and then you have average quarterbacks trying to win you the game throwing the football, that's a recipe for disaster, especially on the road. I don't know why Virginia Tech's an underdog in this game. I'm with you. Give me Virginia Tech straight up just to win the game.
All right, time for Lock of the Week. We both took Virginia Tech, and we both are not sure, but took Kentucky. We split on the other game that we picked today, Michigan at Nebraska. Now it's time for our Lock of the Week. This could be a differential right here. Who do you have? And give me your Lock of the Week.
Yeah, I got Memphis. I have no earthly idea why they're underdogs to Tulsa. I've got Memphis +3. That Tulsa team cannot stop anybody from scoring. Memphis isn't great on defense, but when they're not turning the ball over, they're really good on offense. I like them to win the game outright, so I'll take those 3 points. It's Memphis +3 against Tulsa. By the way, also, why is Tulsa the Golden Hurricane? Do you know that? That's a stupid nickname. That's a terrible nickname. I don't know. Anyhow, it just occurs to me. Give me Memphis +3 as my lock of the week.
Yeah, it's where you take a color and you just match it with something that's
just
irrelevant.
Arbitrary things. You're like, right. we're the Red Leafs. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Okay. Look, I like that one, and I'm going with one that, this is definitely kind of one of those picks where you're going to look at it and go, yeah, this is pretty much a winner each week. But this one's a little bit different. I'm going with Alabama and Texas A&M. I'm taking them both, but I'm taking them to go under 39 in the first half. That's the first half under in that game. All the money in this game is to Alabama, right? 97% of the cash, 93% of the bets. But I'm not even going to touch that. I'm looking at this terrible, awful, abysmal Texas A&M offense, and I'm looking at Alabama on the road against Texas A&M's defense, and I feel like 39, like they could. I don't think Texas A&M is going to do much, even with Drew Sanders, their starting linebacker, out. I think Alabama will throw somebody else in that spot. Will Anderson will get some pressure on the quarterback. I'm not looking at Texas A&M to do much, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama's offense struggled as well in that game. So 39 to me seemed high. I know Alabama covers those first half spreads a lot, but I'm just taking the under in the first half. I think Alabama will win the football game. And Alabama in the first half cover has been amazing. I mean, this is something that's been rolling for a long time. I'm not taking that in this game because this could be one of those games on the road where maybe they don't start fast like they normally do. But I think over the course of time, they'll eventually wear down Texas A&M and win the football game.
It's a good play, Mick. And by the way, I have cashed on Alabama's propensity for domination in the first half for years. I mean, they are an ATM. As an aside, this year, I believe the number is 6-0 in the first quarter against the spread. So you can just walk. It's like betting on Harbaugh in the NFL in a preseason game. They're going to win it. It's crazy. It's whatever their streak is, 20 some odd wins in a row in preseason, for what that's worth. But I would tell you, Alabama, the first quarter, first half is an ATM for people. I like your pick there, though. The under there. So, but I hope you get it wrong.
Let me tell you guys about Pearl River Resort and Casino. I want to take Jeff there some point in time. It's located at the Golden Moon Hotel and Casino in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The sports book at the Timeout Lounge offers traditional sports betting where you can go in and bet on professional and major college sports, 20 TVs with all the major sports networks, 12 state-of-the-art wager boards, 3 in-person wager bet stations. I mean, you got it all at the Timeout Lounge. It's, like I said before, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Tuscaloosa, and we appreciate them for bringing this segment together each and every week. All right, Jeff, well, thank you, my friend, and let's do it again next week. Good luck.
Yeah,
well, not really, though, right?
Yeah. Good luck, Mick. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and you lose all your picks, except for the ones we have the same.
Reagan Starner from R&R Cigars joins us to break down Alabama and Texas A&M when we come back to the Flora-Bama right after this.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about trading or selling your current vehicle? Make sure you get more. Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. It's been an amazing year, and to keep it going, we need your car. We'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours, and we'll pay you more for it. Trading or selling at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, get more. Corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
TuscaloosaHyundai.com. See dealer for vehicle value details.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa near Home 2 Suites, or Northport next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
As the Tide embarks on their journey to the next title, celebrate with Daniel A. Moore's Tributes in Oil to the 2020 championship season. Unrivaled is Moore's commemoration of Alabama's national championship beatdown of the Buckeyes. And Heisman Heights portrays Devontae Smith's one-handed catch against LSU. Available individually or as a discounted championship season bundle. Visit DanielMooreArt.com or call 1-800-735-2787 to order your heirloom quality fine art print or canvas today.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon casinos. Join us for Witches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We're hanging out at the Flora-Bama, and we're also hanging out in Tuscaloosa. We're going to tell you about that, but first, let me remind you that Alabama and Texas A&M match up at 7 o'clock, and we appreciate all of you guys being here as we preview that matchup. Alabama and Texas A&M, the number 1 Crimson Tide 5-0, and Texas A&M 3-2. Our show brought to you by Yingling Lager and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, and this segment is presented by R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa or the newest location in Northport. 2 locations now serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar collection and bourbon selection in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar and a Yingling for just $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. That's me. 2703 6th Street, Tuscaloosa, downtown, near Home to Suites. TheCigarMansion.com. 2 locations, Tuscaloosa and Northport. And as I say that, here is Reagan Starner from R&R Cigars to join us to help take us the rest of the way. Reagan, to talk a little bit of Alabama football. Later in the show, we're going to tell everybody what you got going on. But you're in T-Town. I'm down here at the Flora-Bama, and we're hanging out, man. How you doing? You look good. I saw you on CMT last week.
Yeah, man. Country Music Television decided that R&R Cigars was the business in Tuscaloosa to feature about game days in Tuscaloosa. So that was really cool, man. Getting that type of national recognition. It was awesome. And they came and they did the segment, and so R&R got blasted everywhere on CMT television. That was really cool.
Hey, look, you would CMT would love being down here right now. You got all the music and everything else going on, and you'd probably have to sign some autographs if you were down here, because people in the boots and the jeans and all that stuff, they say this is a honky tonk where I'm at right now. Reagan, let's talk some Alabama football. You're a guy that's up on the Crimson Tide. You pay close attention. Alabama heads to the road. Bryce Young back on the road again. Is it going to be a repeat of Florida for Bryce Young? Let's get into this right now.
I don't think so. I think that, that was 3 games ago. I really think that Ole Miss was a big test for him, and I think that he really, really shined in that last game. I mean, I was really impressed with the way that he played. But I think I was most impressed about the defense last week. I mean, they really shut a lot of people up for the anti-Pete Golding people out there, and I think Pete shut a lot of people up, which I was really thrilled to see. And I don't think Bryce will have to do as much versus Texas A&M like he had to do with Florida. I don't think I was worried with Florida and Ole Miss about how many points that Bryce was going to have to score, and I don't think that he's going to have to do as much of that against A&M, especially with Haynes King still out from injury. I think this one's a pretty easy one for Alabama going to A&M, and I think they'll be able to run the ball at will and get out of there with a pretty easy dub.
All right, well, let's kind of dig into two different things. I mean, you got into the defense with Pete Golding. Obviously, what a redemption game for him last week against Ole Miss, right? But before we get there, you said, hey, I think they're going to be able to run the ball with ease. The offensive line might have had their best game of the season. Well, let's just say they had their best game of the season against Ole Miss. Yeah. The problem is that, Brian Robinson had a great game, but Jace McClellan's done for the year. That means Roydell Williams and Trey Sanders are now going to have to tote the rock for Alabama. What's that going to look like?
Well, I think that's fine. I mean, we talked a lot about it when you were here over the weekend. But I'm a huge Brian Robinson guy. I think Brian Robinson's the lead back in this offense, and I mean he had some vintage Alabama running back performance last year from what you expect from the greats that have been through Alabama, and I think he did a fantastic job, and he really turned a lot of heads, I think.
Who's that? Is that someone calling to argue with you there?
They're probably calling to see. About the Wilder fight tomorrow.
Well, we're going to talk about that next segment. All right, Let's switch gears now, and let's talk about the defense. You talked about Pete Golding. Another injury that has crept up is now you don't have Drew Sanders. You didn't have Chris Allen. How's that going to affect Alabama's ability to rush the passer? I mean, you're talking about two of the biggest pieces of this defense. At the beginning of the season, the defense was definitely the strength, and now we're missing not one but two really important guys.
I mean, the thing that's been great about the recruiting that we have here at Alabama is it makes it a lot easier to lose guys. You don't want to lose guys, obviously, but when guys get hurt, there's plenty of guys to step up, and Drew Sanders was a guy that a lot of people really felt that he was better, that he should have been the one starting out coming into the fall. And I mean, losing him, that hurts, but hopefully it's not a long-term injury, and he's able to bounce back from it. But I mean, they really need to start getting a lot more pressure from that defensive line. The trenches are obviously where the games are won and lost for Alabama teams in the NFL. And, this has been one of the more disappointing – I feel like it's been one of the more disappointing pass rushing teams of Nick Saban's career, in recent memory at least, because it doesn't seem like they're going after them and getting all the sacks that that we're accustomed to seeing. But overall, I still think they're playing really good defense. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they're able to, make do without Chris Allen and without Drew Sanders. But I think that they'll be fine. I really do. Hopefully it's not a long-term injury, but I think they'll be okay. I think versus Texas A&M, I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. I really I just don't see this Texas A&M team as without King. I don't see Texas A&M being able to score the points that Alabama's offense is going to put up.
Like and subscribe as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. We have doubled our base. Over 60,000 of you guys now subscribe to this station. And for those of you that are listening on Jocks 2, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, or across the state of Alabama, roll tide, everybody. Alabama and Texas A&M. I'm Mick Gillispie with Reagan Starner from R&R Cigars. Breaking this thing down right now. The Alabama and Texas A&M matchup brought to you by R&R Cigar in Tuscaloosa. All right, where do you give Alabama the edge tomorrow, and where do you give Texas A&M the edge? I mean, let's just kind of flip the coin here. Where do you see this thing landing? And I know it's Texas A&M coming off losses to Mississippi State at home, on the road at Arkansas. They've been battered, but still, give them the edge. Just quickly give both teams the edge in this game. Where would you give them the advantage? I mean, Texas A&M's the home team. I mean, that's the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, I might give Jimbo Fisher the edge on how to handle cheating. You know, that's kind of the only place that I see Jimbo having an edge is how to deal with, you know, cheating and, you know, what to do in that situation. You know, but I mean, truthfully, I mean, you hate to sound like a homer, but I mean, I don't see any position group where I sit here and say, wow, you know, A&M is just that's where they're better than Alabama at this position group. I really don't see it. You know, maybe their punter is better. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen Alabama. I mean, it's this Alabama team is really good in a lot of areas, you know, and I think that we haven't even seen the ceiling, especially on offense, for what this team can do offensively. So.
Well, that's a good point. Alabama, a heavy favorite tomorrow on the road against Texas A&M, 7 o'clock kickoff in College Station. This Bama Insider Tailgate Show and all of them brought to you by Hotel Indigo. Next visit to Tuscaloosa. Make your stay memorable at Hotel Indigo right there in downtown Tuscaloosa, right there by the Black Warrior River. All right, when we come back, Reagan and I are going to give you our prediction on tomorrow's game. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after this.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Big winnings are brewing at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Join us for Witches Riches this October and win your share of $50,000 in cash and bonus bet prizes. Be one of 5 lucky winners every Friday and Saturday in October. Drawings every hour from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. where you can win $500 in bonus bet or $3,000 cash. This October, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos, Pearl River Resort Properties.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
The Great Smoky Mountains area has some of the best fall drives in the nation. One of the most interesting and beautiful of these can be found on the way to Bluff Mountain. This fall, the best view is yours on Sevierville's Bluff Mountain Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
The world-famous Flora-Bama has been serving up the good times and good music since 1964. And after 57 years, we're not even close to slowing down. There's live music 365 days a year and big events all year long, including the Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. Mark your calendar and make plans to join us on the line November 4th through the 14th for a music lovers event like no other. You'll hear the stories behind the songs from the songwriters themselves. It's a full 10 days of incredible entertainment. Make plans to join us and get all the info online at frankbrownsongwriters.com.
Final segment of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Barry Buckner and the gang over there are going to take care of you. Luxury cars at their best.
If you're online shopping luxury vehicles, type in Genesis Quality. Highest ranking year after year for all premium brands, only Genesis. Type in Genesis Safety. Every vehicle earning the highest standard, only Genesis. Value, warranty, the standard, only Genesis. At Alabama's only and America's first Genesis Global Image facility. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
With Reagan Starner, I'm Mick Gillispie. We talk about this Alabama and Texas A&M game, Reagan, and before we get to what you got going on, and there's a lot of stuff over at the Cigar Mansion. And by the way, happy birthday. Let's go ahead and throw out our prediction for the Alabama-Texas A&M game. What do you think?
I like Alabama in a blowout. Like something like 42-7. I just don't. Once they get past the scripted plays for A&M, I think that it just kind of goes downhill from that. Maybe 42-14. But I really don't see a lot more than that this week.
Hey, look, I got to take Alabama, too. I think that the first half's going to be pretty tight. I think that Alabama and Texas A&M will be under in the first half. But I look for Alabama to win the ball game. The last few have been like 52-24. And I'm looking for something in that same neighborhood. Texas A&M just has so many problems. And if you can't beat Mississippi State or Arkansas, you're going to have a lot of trouble against Alabama. I'm looking for Roydell Williams and Trey Sanders to fight for that playing time. And we'll see how those guys do. But Bryce Young and the offensive line and the receivers and Brian Robinson have been so good. Alabama comes in rolling, and I think they'll continue to roll this first of a two-game road trip next week. They'll be at Mississippi State. We'll be at Pearl River Resort next week. All right, Reagan, let's talk about R&R Cigar. Your birthday bash, the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight. Everyone seems to think that Fury's going to beat Wilder. I haven't been this excited about a sporting event in a long time. I think Wilder's going to shock the world, and he's going to knock out Fury. And I think that he's going to get revenge from the first two fights. People can come by R&R and watch it.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow's going to be awesome. We have a killer day planned for tomorrow. From 3 to 7, if you come by R&R Cigars, from 3 to 7 p.m., on Saturday, you come by, and if you wish me a happy birthday, I will give you a birthday gift. I will give you a free $10 gift card.
How many?
Yeah, free $10 gift card if you come wish me a happy birthday tomorrow. So,
can we do it on Twitter, or we got to be there in person?
Got to be there in person. Yeah, got to be there in person. You get a free $10 gift card that you can spend between 3 and 7. At 5:30, the Crimson Smokers. It's one of my favorite food trucks. They do barbecue. They do barbecue spaghetti. They do ribs, Reubens. They've got free barbecue spaghetti from 5:30 until they run out. And then if they run out, then you can buy food from them. But I've bought some barbecue spaghetti for people. And then we're going to watch Alabama. And then not only the Mansion, but Northport. Both shops will be showing the Wilder Fury fight tomorrow night after the Alabama game is over. And it's going to be a killer night. We're going to have so much fun. We're one of the only places in Tuscaloosa showing the fight. And there's like 4 places, and R&R's 2 of them. So it's going to be really, really cool. We're going to have a great time. And celebrating my birthday, and I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to as my first Saturday birthday in forever, but yeah, so we're really, really excited about it, and we're going to throw a big bash.
That's nice, man. It's like fun. You've gotten a lot of good news lately, and you got a birthday coming up, and you got Deontay Wilder in both locations. I'm sure you'll be at the mansion, right? Or are you going to go over to Northport for the fight?
No, I'm going to have to be at the mansion. But if you can get the $10 gift card at the mansion or Northport, you can watch the fight at the mansion or Northport. Either one, both places are going to be rocking and rolling and absolutely packed to capacity. It's going to be
awesome.
Great.
Well, look, Reagan, we're looking forward to doing the show from R&R for the Tennessee game. It's going to be fun. It just feels like that's where we should be. And you guys are already starting to gear up for that when Alabama plays Tennessee in the cigar game. Next week we'll be at Pearl River, and, of course, you're invited to join us there. But that does it for the show. I mean, this thing went by so fast tonight. Happy birthday to you. And hopefully Deontay wins tomorrow, and we have more fights in the future. If he loses, who knows what's going to happen in his career. But, I'm a big Deontay Wilder fan. I'm a homer for him. I want him to win, and I know tomorrow is going to be one of the most memorable fights in history. I want to thank everyone here at the Flora-Bama for making this our home for a couple of these games this year. We've had a great time, Jen, John, and the entire crew for making it just an awesome atmosphere, for Chris Warner for jumping on with us and talking about his tailgating book. Trey Yanity was on the show, Andrew Bone, and Alabama getting the #1 tight end in the country and breaking down that as far as the recruitment and the commitment of
If you're online shopping luxury vehicles, type in Genesis Quality. Highest ranking year after year for all premium brands, only Genesis. Type in Genesis Safety. Every vehicle earning the highest standard, only Genesis. Value, warranty, the standard, only Genesis. At Alabama's only and America's first Genesis Global Image facility. Genesis of Tuscaloosa.